Welcome to M Squared TechCast.
Hey, it's Mike Brennan, and we're back on M Squared TechCast with my special co-host, Rick Thompson. Again, since some of the folks in my audience may not be familiar with you, Rick, introduce yourself and talk about what you do.
I'm on the board of directors of the Normal Chapter here in the state of Michigan. I own the Michigan Cannabis Business Development Group. I've been involved in politics and local and statewide here in Michigan regarding the cannabis sphere for a good decade now.
And Matt is out having surgery. He's having one of his knees replaced, so when he comes back, he'll be able to run 60 miles an hour. So we're looking forward to that.
I can't compete with that, I'll just tell you right now.
Yes. So we have with us Chris Sorensen, and we're going to be talking about what's happening with the Cyber Patriot program. But first off, Chris is a cybersecurity researcher at General Electric. He also teaches high school computer science and a master's in cybersecurity at the University of Detroit Mercy. And we're working real closely with Tamara there. And we're going to be spending the next few months bringing in various folks that are involved in the Cyber Patriot program. Well, let's start off with explaining.
Tamara is also having knee surgery.
Yes, on the same day. Yes, it's funny. Her and Matt together. I don't think they're sharing a room, but I could be wrong. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about Cyber Patriot, then we'll go into some other stuff.
Terrific. Cyber Patriot is a national program. It's not just a Michigan thing. It was developed by the Air Force Association, which is not the Air Force, but it's a group that supports the Air Force. Cyber Patriot, the mission is to educate kids, high school, middle school kids, with the skills, abilities, knowledge, so that they might enjoy a career as a cyber defender. There is a huge shortage, as we know, of people with cybersecurity skills.
Right.
And I spend a lot of time on college campuses recruiting for my company, and it's really hard to find people with these skills, not to mention that right next to me at the career fair are the big three, Ford, GM, Chrysler, all hiring cybersecurity people. And then on this side of me are what I call the big four, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Facebook.
And they're hiring cybersecurity
They're hiring
people.
cybersecurity people. And over there is the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. All want cyber people. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty lucrative, and there's a big shortage nationwide. There's hundreds of thousands of job openings, and as these things go, they're one of the most highest paid starting salaries because they're scarce as hen's teeth, right?
Well, you're right, Mike, and it's simple economics, right? Supply and demand.
Yep.
There are, you said 100,000s, try millions
Really,
of
that
jobs that are unfilled because people just don't have these skills.
Sure.
So, yeah, salaries tend to be skyrocketing as well.
Oh, interesting.
It's an emergent technology. What type of jobs are available out there? I mean, we talked about many different employers, but there has to be many different strata of positions within each company.
Yeah. Types of jobs in companies range from very technical. These are the kinds of things that you see in movies and books, okay? These are super hackers. And I do want to stress that Cyber Patriot is not a hacking club. These are cyber defenders, much like your local police department are defending against criminals. They have to know a little bit about the way criminals think, but they're defending against them. So there are some very technical jobs, all the way up to senior policymakers. Somebody has to write the rules. Somebody has to write the documentation. Cybersecurity involves regulatory affairs. It involves compliance. It involves the very highest levels of executive office in a corporation.
All right, so now you've got how many teams in Michigan involved in the Cyber Patriot program?
We're so excited about Michigan. We started this program in Michigan 6 years ago, maybe, with 4 teams in the entire state. And this year we have over 180
Wow.
in 6 years.
Wow.
Those are all
Yes.
high school children?
They are a combination of high school and middle school. And that's teams, not necessarily schools, because there are many schools have more than one team.
Mm-hmm.
Your team, the number of people on a team is capped. So, for instance, at my school, we had more kids that wanted to do it than could fit on a team, so we just had more teams. It's very scalable.
So are you seeing kids more interested in this now when they learn? Well, I mean, for instance, I didn't grow up with the internet. These kids have always been in the internet world, right? And so they're probably much better at this stuff than I am, and I've been covering it for 40 years, right? So are you seeing a big interest in middle school and high school kids about cybersecurity careers?
We are, and just in computers in general. Now, it's a pretty popular statement that millennials grew up with this stuff,
Right.
and they're digital natives, and so they know how all this stuff works. They are absolutely expert consumers of technology.
Right.
But as far as understanding how things work, the engineering, the production of that, there's still a lot to learn. So kids really want to understand how computers work, and if nothing else, they want to understand how they can go home and teach their parents how to secure their home network.
Now, how would a child find out whether there's a team at their school? And if there isn't, how would they go about getting you to form a team at that location?
Right. So starting a team is really easy. It takes relatively little money, little expertise. You don't have to be an expert in computers to start a team. If you were watching this podcast and wanted to have a team at your school, you'd go back and talk to a teacher or an administrator. That person becomes the coach of the team. The coach is not a technical expert at all. The coach is responsible for the logistics of a team, securing a room to practice in, which might be the computer lab or might not be. The coach is responsible on competition days for supplying pizza and Mountain Dew.
Tough.
Competition
Okay.
days are tough.
I think Dave Phillips could even do that, right?
The person who is the technical person is called a mentor. And these people are industry professionals like myself who are just interested in coaching and mentoring some teenagers about basic computer skills. So we have developed in Michigan this gigantic pool of volunteers, hundreds of them.
Really?
And we will play matchmaker and say, this school needs a mentor, this school needs a mentor, this one doesn't. Sometimes these people actually physically go into the school. Sometimes they do it virtually. We have many, especially in remote locations, schools that will do Skype sessions with
Yeah.
mentors.
Right. So, let's see.
I did mention the composition of the team.
Yeah.
Slightly. Cyber Patriot teams can have as little as 2 people on them or as many as 6. The team is capped at 6, and that's 5 people competing at once with 1 reserve. It's like a basketball team. 5 people on the court at once, but you can sub in 1 person when they get tired. And the reason you want to have that is, even though we practice during the week, on the weekends we have a competition, and the competition is a 6-hour
Ooh.
competition. Right.
No bathroom breaks or eating or anything.
You can take
right?
as many bathroom breaks or
Okay.
Well, at
eating as you
Mountain
want,
Dew, you know, right.
but only 5 people at once, and 1 person subs in and out.
Okay.
And this is what makes this a unique experience. It's not just listening to a computer geek talk to you for hours and hours and hours. It's actually hands-on practice, and then on a competition day, everybody in the nation that's competing, remember there's hundreds of teams just in Michigan,
Right.
all over the United States, everybody will download the same 3 or 4 virtual machines, Windows and Linux, and then we'll say 3, 2, 1, go. And everybody dives into the same virtual machine and starts finding and fixing security vulnerabilities. Every time you find something, a little bell goes off and lights flash, They play music, and you see where you are on this live leaderboard. It's really exciting.
So you get like points or something or other.
You get points. That's exactly right. And it's a scavenger hunt. You can think of it like that. And you're competing against these other teams. You have 6 hours. And so they're going like crazy. And then after a couple hours, they start to slow down a little bit and get tired. And then we give them
then the
pizza
Red Bull,
and Mountain Dew, and then they go
comes
again.
out. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
We know how to get kids excited.
After the first couple of rounds, your scores are aggregated and you're ranked. Silver, gold, platinum. And in subsequent rounds, then you start to compete in a smaller group of teams that are more at your level. This is like how we separate teams into Division 1, 2, and 3 in sports. Okay, so middle school kids are not competing against uber high school kids, and even beginning high school kids don't compete against the top tier. So we're separating them out, leveling the playing field, and then everybody gets a chance to advance to a regional level, a state level, a national level. It's very exciting.
And as they get better pizza toppings, right? Then you throw on extra cheese if you get to the
More
gold level.
Mountain Dew. You know?
Absolutely,
So, I mean,
Get some code red for you guys if you do well next time.
Well, we got a little over a minute left, so let's tell folks how they can find out more about that.
The National Cyber Patriot program is at uscyberpatriot.org. uscyberpatriot.org. And you can get all kinds of information there. At our Michigan coalition is at MICyberpatriot.org. And there you can get all kinds of info on the Michigan coalition. My info is up there. Tamara Shoemaker's info is there. You can find out how to get a team started, and you can join with other brand new teams and coaches who are just getting this off the ground. We will bend over backwards to help you get started.
Okay, that's Chris Sorensen, a cybersecurity researcher with General Electric, and he's also a mentor in the Cyber Patriot program.
Additional four-year students love Lawrence Technological University's thriving campus life, but LTU has always met non-traditional students' needs too. Lawrence Tech offers over 100 degree and certificate programs that can get adult students started or back on track. And most of our classes are conveniently offered evenings at our beautiful Southfield campus or online, so you can balance your social, family, and work life even while you power up your career. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.